Other Also, Mayor Walt Maddox there in the middle between Governor Bentley, and now he's talking to Senator Shelby, and standing right behind him, Senator Jeff Sessions. So, again, a lot of state and local leaders up there as the president came to visit Alabama today. He mentioned yesterday that all of resources that were available for Alabama would be dispersed, and they would do everything they could as far as the federal government to help out and get these people back to the lives that they so desperately are trying to rebuild now. This is an image of the president as he toured Tuscaloosa earlier today. He got in his motorcade and went to, I believe, the northwest, Josh, part of the city is what was hardest hit. Southeast part of the city that was hardest hit, and we're assuming this is where those pictures are from. Again, you can see senators behind him, also the governor standing there with him. Again, they are saying their goodbyes now as the president prepares to leave. He was expected to go to the shuttle launch, but it has since been scrubbed because of some technical problem there. We're not sure when that will happen, but then after the shuttle launch, he was due in Miami-Dade later this evening at Miami-Dade College to speak there. So again, the president saying his goodbyes now, getting ready to get back on board Air Force One. There he is, joined by First Lady Michelle Obama as they get ready to get back on board Air Force One there at the Tuscaloosa airport and get ready to go off to Florida. From what we understand, that is his next stop. Again, he was supposed to be there for the shuttle launch later today, which has since been scrubbed due to some technical problem.
And we've learned also President Barack Obama, while he was in the Tuscaloosa area, he toured the Alberta neighborhood, heavily damaged neighborhood, and also Holt Elementary School, an area that suffered a lot of damage as well. So while on the ground, I'm sure they took the president to the most damaged areas so you can get a good look at what this storm did. And like Josh said, we don't know if this is going to be classified as an EF5 or not, but a storm that did considerable damage and stayed on the ground basically all the way from the Mississippi-Alabama line into Birmingham and left a path that you can see from the satellites in space. And President Obama getting an aerial look as he flew in on Air Force One right there, and then a look on the ground as he drove around with city leaders, again taking a look at the Alberta neighborhood and Holt Elementary School, two areas that suffered a lot of damage when that tornado churned through West Alabama.
It was a nice warm welcome that they got when they landed there, and from what we understand, when they went to that school you just mentioned there, they were there for about 15 minutes, were there talking to survivors and the principal there at the school, and there were lots of hugs from what we understand, lots of well wishes, and again reassurance from, and I like the way Chris Clackham referred to him as the comforter-in-chief is what he's doing today. He is here to let Alabama know that he is serious about helping as federal aid is being dispersed here in Maxwell Air Force Base right here in Montgomery, one of the staging areas as they get the supplies and personnel the federal government is sending here to help in the next days, weeks, months, and possibly years to get people back to where they were. It took them years to build what was destroyed in a matter of a few short hours on Wednesday. And we are talking about the FEMA and the also the weather forecasters and the people who go out to assess the damage.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm trying to come up with. What am I trying to say here, Josh? It's been a long time. The National Weather Service out assessing the damage, trying to figure out what strength these tornadoes were, and already they're calling a couple of them EF5s.
Yeah, EF5 out of Mississippi. One of the Marion County tornadoes has been rated an EF4. DeKalb County, Alabama, EF4. So those are just a few. And understand, we're likely going to have a day when all is said and done where we have had 3, 4, 5, half a dozen, maybe more, EF4 and 5 tornadoes. It's unprecedented. You have to go back to 1974 really to see this. From what I read, by the way, the president, they started in northwest Tuscaloosa, which is where we are now. This is Tuscaloosa's regional airport on the city's northwest side, kind of off to the west of the city of Northport. Northport and Tuscaloosa, it's sort of like if Prattville and Montgomery were closer together. It's the same type of situation. Northport is just sort of on the other side of the Black Warrior River, and the airport is on the north side of the river. So the president sort of went around through Northport first, and in the northwestern Tuscaloosa. Then from there went on through 15th Street, Alberta City. Alberta City is one of Tuscaloosa's oldest communities. It's one of the first areas where the city of Tuscaloosa was settled way back when. It was heavily, heavily damaged. That area, Alberta City, is just south of the campus of the University of Alabama. Then from there, the president went on through Alberta City back over towards McFarland Boulevard. That's a kind of a commercial district there on the city's east and southeast side. Then they swung out to Holt Elementary School. That's it out on the kind of the east side of Tuscaloosa, where they spoke with the school principal. And the school principal confided in the president that she had been at the school for 48 hours and had had 4 hours of sleep since this disastrous tornado
You can kind
ravaged
of
the school there.
identify with that, can't you?
I can empathize with that part of it for sure, the sleep deprivation, but to be there in the middle of it, just hard to fathom. You know, Tuscaloosa, the way this has all happened, you know, we talk about the oil spill, which that's the last time President Obama was in Alabama, was after the oil spill. That was a disaster, don't get me wrong, but that was a kind of a slow build-up over weeks and months. Tuscaloosa Wednesday morning was the same as it's been for 15 years. Tuscaloosa Thursday morning may not be the same for a few years. Just a drastic, in a matter of 60 seconds, everything changed, not just for the people in the city, but the city itself. Structurally, it's going to look different. For those of you who go up to Alabama football games at the university, it's going to look different now. And if you're coming from Montgomery, if you're going to an Alabama game, going to tailgate or something like that, you go right past this area. You go right up McFarland to 15th Street. You go right along the path that President Obama took here as he rode around with several local authorities. Richard Shelby, and you know, you start to think about the men involved here. Senator Shelby, Tuscaloosa guy. Governor Bentley, a Tuscaloosa guy.
And some of the biggest names in politics, people who have been in this state and leaders in this state for many, many years and have never, ever seen anything like this. So, of course, they needed to be here today, and that's exactly where they were. Of course, some of the first faces that President and First Lady Obama saw when they stepped off of Air Force One, and they were here just a little bit longer than they were expecting to be.
They didn't wait a whole lot of time on the plane before they take off. But they're a little different than when I'm flying.
Oh yeah,
he hops on, he goes.
No offense, Delta's not like that.
No, they love to fly, and it's a different kind of thing, isn't it? Yeah, they really do show it. I think he's off to Florida at this point now. But again, that is Air Force One at Tuscaloosa's airport, and you said that's in the northwest part of the city. And we will have much more from the president's visit on the ground. We've been showing you still pictures, but we will have video of his trip. We were just waiting for that trip to be over, and then we'll edit that video and show you some of his visit and where he went and what happened when he was on the ground here.
Yeah, we can't tell you, Governor Robert Bentley has just started something. He's opened up the Recovery Response Call Center right now, and this is to help Alabamians all over the state. If you have questions, concerns, or if you're needing help, this is where you can get that information. It's called the Recovery Response Call Center. We'll put up the number for you a little bit later on. It's 1-866-465-2241. You can speak to someone directly on a phone line between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. to answer your questions. Just started up by Governor Robert Bentley, the Recovery Response Call Center. We'll try to get that number up for you a little bit later on. 1-866-465-2241. That's any storm-related questions. If you're looking for who do I go for help because I have this problem, that's the number you need to call, and it's on your screen right now if you want to take it down. 866-465-2241. Sometimes you just don't know where to start. You know you have a problem, you know something's wrong, you didn't maybe not have any fatalities in your household, but you have things that need fixing up or problems, and it's a good place to start.
Yeah, and that is a toll-free number that you can call and get that information you need. And again, a great source of information throughout the day today and throughout the next few days and any time for that matter. WSFA.com. It's a great place to go to find donation locations. A lot of people getting together and mobilizing efforts through their different social organizations. And we were talking about the Troy University SGA. We were talking about the folks up in Prattville who started a concert. You interviewed a young lady from Alabama Christian Academy who's doing something. And also you mentioned the young man from Troy University with the T-shirt design. So a lot of people and a lot of places to go for help. And then too, Life South with the blood donation still going strong over there. Somebody sent me a tweet that said this line over here at the blood drive is no joke. But he said he was glad to help any way he can. So it's going to take you a little bit longer to donate today, but do that because I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate that as we watch Air Force One take off from Tuscaloosa. President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama here in Alabama to comfort those who lost so much during Wednesday's storms.
And regardless of your politics, the President of the United States doing this is a game-changing thing.
Huge.
Now this is, it was on the news before, but now this is live video that you're probably seeing on MSNBC and CNN. So the visibility it provides, you know, more than just the actual support. FEMA was going to be there. We
Sure.
know that. But the visibility that this provides, him taking the time to come to Alabama, I think that means a lot.
And spend time here on the ground, not just stop at a podium at an airport and say a few words and then get back on the plane and go,
right.
but to actually get in a motorcade and go to some of these places affected and shake some hands and hug people and say, hey, we're here for you and help is on the way if it's not already there. We have been here since 4:30 this morning, and we certainly